Hey everyone, it's Keith at Noel Automotive. Let's take an in-depth look at this Cutaway engine and see what it took my shop to get it running. Alright, this is one of the pictures off the original eBay listing. So you can see that the exhaust manifold is painted orange and there's a black outline, and you can see the different colors of blue signifying like carburetor, oil pump, cooling system, and so on. So when I redid the engine, I tried to recreate the exact colors, and we believe this to be the 1970 colors. So this is the base. You can see it's all beat up and very dusty. The electric motor is red, lots of dust, old-timey fuse, like the screw-in fuse. This is the engine as delivered to me, super rusty on the pallet. This is how the engine was delivered to Jamie, and it was in the flood. So everything got completely saturated through flood waters, very damaging. Here's all the parts dug out of the packaging, laid across the table. The pistons are super corroded, lots of rust everywhere throughout. The pistons were originally chrome and the aluminum oxidized. There's the electric starter motor. There's the connecting rods. Just once again, just super rusty. I'm not sure if the previous owner had the engine hot tanked. There's the old original oil filter that was chromed. You can see the embossed M on it, but that thing was just absolute garbage, unusable. And we did replace that with an NOS dealer oil filter. So here's the crankshaft. The crankshaft was all wrapped up in plastic. It still actually had flood water, like liquid flood water, which was full of mud. So the crankshaft was really hurting. The exhaust manifold, torque converter, bell housing, heads were very rusty. Some of the small bits and pieces, just everything was saturated with mud water, flooded out, disassembled. I believe the previous owner was attempting to restore it. And also I don't know that the original engine had plastic main bearings. So there's the device, I call it the horn button, but it's like a circular contact piece. There's a carousel. Here's me unloading the engine and getting it off the pallet, mounting it on a engine stand, just trying to clean up everything. Here's the engine after the Sperry engines hot tanked it and bead blasted it, and so it was very clean, and you could finally start to see what it's all about. We painted the engine in epoxy primer, then white. Wanted everything white, so on the inside of the engine it would be very bright and visible. Went with that dark blue look for the connecting rods, and there's the starter motor right there. So went with that same color. Chris spent a lot of time matching the paint colors. There's the torque converter, the oil pan, the timing cover, the intake, the water pump. You can see the cutaways there, but it kind of looks like a Pontiac, kind of a turquoise green. Bell housing, aluminum stands, exhaust manifold, fan clutch. So, and here is the water pump housing with the cutaway there as well. Alright, so we got a lot of stuff from the chromer is all back, and we start doing the build-up. You can see the block and everything laid out. Here's Jerome, has it partially assembled, and for the first time we get to rotate everything, make sure that the timing is correct, and that the push rods and the camshaft. You can see I actually painted the purple on the camshaft, so purple shaft, if you know that direct connection right there. The alternator, completely full of water, tore it apart, rebuilt it, kind of, just basically cleaned it. Here we are mocking up the plastic So Jerome made cardboard templates of everything. So Pip Printing, so Scott March at Pip Printing in Iowa City could make us the Lexan. Here is the base. This is the first time we actually had the base in operation. So it turns very slow, but it was kind of nice to see it actually functioning for the first time right there. Alright, so one thing we had to do is we had to readjust the clearance for this collar. This is a pinch collar that was going to hold the carousel pole, and I had to clearance the stainless steel deck. And there's the engine right there. We had to use a forklift because the engine hoist would not work. We had a lot of weight hanging over a long distance. That's me running the forklift, trying to videotape as much as I can while operating the controls and directing the guys on what to do. So the carousel pole bolts to the main bearing caps. It just takes a delicate touch to get the bolts threaded in without cross-threading them. So you can see Jerome and Wyatt doing their best to try to get everything lined up. So just to review on old number 4 here, some of the things that we had to do to get it running and also to load it. So for loading, we installed these D-rings right here so I can attach the winch to it. And then when it's winched into the trailer, I can strap it down tight. And we actually remove the side panel here for access. And so there's the electric motor. And these pinch bolts right here is what attach the carousel pole to the gearbox. We've got the electrical ring gear, or the ring contact right here. You know, the wires go through the pole. They go up to the starter there. We've got 2 electrical wires. One is for the spark plug and one is for the electrical motor there. You can see how it turns here. There's your gear box turning from the electrical motor. So old number 4. There's a bearing up there. It's a worm's eye view of what's going on. Here's the top side. And one unique thing about this is I can stop the carousel and pause that and still let the engine rotate with the electrical motor. Switch back here that separates the 2 motors. So that will stop, but I still have electrical power that runs to the top right here. So we can sit here and just watch it turn over. There's our spark plug. And the clicking noise that you hear is some of the lifters collapsing as they go. There's no pressure on them, so some of the lifters are falling back down into the bore. We'll go over to the other side here. So we can go through the compression strokes. So here we go, compression, power, exhaust, intake, compression, power, exhaust, and intake. You can see the crankshaft rotating there. You can see the torque converter all cut away there. You see the gear. See the oil pump driving there with the timing chain turning. And watch this, and here comes our compression stroke. And you see that spark there? And we actually have a wire ran to the distributor, and number 3 spark plug wire is grounded by the rotor and powered by this wire right here. It runs down inside the bottom of the display. Right here we have a case. It was full of flood water and rust, and the motor right there was also filled with water and rust, and it was seized. We've got a contact foot right here. We've got 2 pads that contact the circuitry right here. We've got an LED converter right there, that black box, and then we've also got a heavy-duty clamp on top of this carousel pole that holds the entire weight of the engine on that pillow bearing. Right there you can see the wire assembly going up through the carousel pole, and you can see how that comes out of the oil pan. It actually runs through the pole right there, comes through a hole in the side of the oil pan, and then goes to the electric motor. And then that red and black wire right there go to that LED light that I told you about earlier for the spark plug. I'm going to turn this on and show you how this mechanism all works down here. Now we've got 2 circuits. We've got an electric motor for the turntable, and then we also have the electric motor for the engine. So 2 different circuits, and I do have a switch that will separate them. So I'll go around the other side and show you the switch that turns off the turntable. Alright, so the turntable is off right now, and you can have it to where just the engine will spin. So all the protective shields so people don't stick their fingers in here. Basically we just go to our local sign printing company, Pip Printing, and they cut out acrylic pieces in a template that we made, and then we just heat them up and make the holes. So you can see these over here. So it's just by heating everything up and bending it into shape. So if you watch here, you'll see how we're adjusting the holes, and it's really hard to measure it on a curvature. So we get a couple holes started, and so drone's trying to get this one hole lined up, and then we'll get a screw in there, and then we can make the other 2 holes and keep bending it. I'll get that bent into place, and then we can come back and shape that, and then shape that. So we've got 2 more holes to make, but we won't drill the hole until we get this bent into place. So you can see that screw hole in there in that low spot. So you can see how the acrylic bends. Right. You could do a little bit. We'll do this and then we'll do that. I don't know how far we should go down with that. So I gotta just hold it into place, let it cool, and it'll stay. Yeah, nice detail. According to the original, we've seen other original Cutaway engines and pictures of this before it was chopped up and rusty, that all of the blackout area or all the black areas are painted to indicate a cut in the cast iron. So after lots of research and looking at more pictures, I decided I did leave this alone, but I decided I wanted to paint it because the original one was painted this way. So I'm just going through and just highlighting the edge of the cut. And that's all I'm doing. So I've got lots to do here. I'm gonna do this whole entire exhaust manifold, but I've done the other side of the engine where the cylinder walls are cut away. And so we'll just keep going on this. And this is just black enamel paint with hardener in it. And as always, comment, like, subscribe. And this is going to be at the debut show this weekend, the 24th. And if you can't see it live and in action, just keep watching all my social media videos. So my other social media sites are Mopar Keith on Instagram and TikTok, and Mopars and Muscle on Facebook. And the YouTube channel is Mopar Keith 1 or Noel Automotive. Alright, so here you can see the original placard. It's yellowed, broken, beaten up and everything. And Scott Marsh at Pip Printing in Iowa City was able to reproduce the placard in the exact original form. So you can see it here. In charge of the wheels and these.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, slow. Yep.
Ready to go.
Yep. Go ahead.
That's what I mean.
I tried. Back wheels on it, or what's? Oh, it's this. Yep. Needs to
Back up. I want to go that way, just a little back up. Okay, now in. There we go. All right, time out. Did we go on? We've got these. Actually, these are U.S. car tool K-frame jig pieces right here. We bolted these on the motor mount area, or the ears, and they're going to be straps to come up here. And then all of the Cutaway engines that I've seen have these straps right here, so we went ahead and had those re-chromed and put them back in the same place. And all of this is in an effort to get some pulling up action on this. So we're going to strap the base down, and then even though this thing is like super thick and robust and probably wouldn't break, I'm more worried about the gearbox down below and don't want to break that. So all the efforts are made to stabilize this, protect the gearbox in the bottom. And it's what Jerome is doing right now is we actually have some keyways or Allen head pinch bolts, and to allow this to jiggle a little bit as we go down the highway, we're going to release the pinch bolts so this can do a little sideways action, because man, the roads that we go on and the curves and the bumps, I know this trailer flexes, and so we're going to release the pinch bolts and hopefully nothing breaks. So we got a couple more trips to make, and this is how we got it all set up. So that's about it. All right, that's it for now on the restoration of this Cutaway engine. I hope everybody learned a little bit, and please subscribe and comment, and thanks for watching.